What up, though? You know what's going on, man. 722, Westside, 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 what it do? Gratitude from me to you, you know what I'm saying? And man, today is such a fucking empowering day. I'm gonna say that's what it is. You know what I mean? Cause it has been a great day of awakening, revelation, opening of the way, seership, vision, activation, you know what I'm saying, motivation. Overall, it's been empowering. It's been highly inspired and definitely divinely guided. And that's to why I come, with this message of 722, because it was brought to me, let us say, it was put on my heart. But it was some days ago that I was gonna come do this message, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna do it on this day because I just know the energy gonna be right. Some just I could feel it, more within my spirit guides, with that today was gonna be the day, and here we are, and so it is, you know what I mean. So as for today, I want to say shouts out to the red self-existent serpent. You feel me? Because I'm a red Skywalker, so you know how that is. You know what I mean? If you understand the Mayan galactic signature and Mayan calendar, then you understand the energies of what's going on. And the red serpent is what guides, the Skywalker, but the serpent is the energy of the sun today. So that's the archetype, you know what I mean, that's coming through. And that self-existent energy is also something that speaks to me, in a sense of independence, in a sense of, being free, you know what I mean? Being able to exist as self or as oneself and without all of the shit, you know what I'm saying? So being able to come into that self-existence, perhaps through self-realization or whatever transformation that, that one could be going through at this time. And 722 is also significant just to the energies and the spirit of Maria Sabina, you know what I mean? So shouts out to the psychedelic priestess, the medicine woman, you know what I mean? A great woman and great elder of priestesses, wise women, however you want to look at it. I mean, just when it come down to it, a quote that she would say or something that she has said is that you are the medicine. And that's something that I received, something that I would say I have inherited along my journey to honor my mind, my body as the medicine, you know what I'm saying? To honor my consciousness, my soul, my spirit, my energy, as medicine, as medicinal, in the fact of that one is limitless. One can make the impossible possible. So for any circumstances, you know what I mean, or any unforeseen things that may be, whether it be ailments or illnesses, or even just whether it be mental and psychological, and, as far as the nervous system and whatnot, one is able to guard their temple and honor their temple and understand the sacred nature of the body and mind in connection with the soul and spirit as the soul and spirit. So just understanding the energy of today and the energies that are present today, that, man, I mean, it's for me, I love it. You know what I mean? I love it because it be so it be so vast. I'm not saying vast in like a way of rapid, but it be so big, so major. So that's another thing too that I get into later, as far as getting out of perception and not allowing perception to have you shrink, into minimal ideas or things that kind of take you out of the flow or take you out of the moment of where you you meant to be or where you want to go. And so essentially just really, what I'm saying, as committed one is, being consistent with your energy while experiencing this mind, body, and everything of the sort. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, today also is my guy, Red Rum, man. Yeah, man. Shouts out to the big homie Rum, man. Red Rum 781, Inglewood. You know what I mean? That's a real wise guy right there. That's what I can say. A real elder, a real big homie. I don't even like that term, you know what I mean? Just because I feel like everybody got their own higher self, God, authority, and hierarchy in themselves. So I'm never really quick to call or give people that big homie, give them that big homie title. But he's somebody that I could say as a brother, as somebody who I've I would say, crossed paths with, connected with, and made connection with in this life, he's a big homie. He's a real big homie. I could say that just as a brother and as a man, he is a real homie. That's a genuine soul. And so I respect that, just that even in his name, him being, let's say him going from red rum to big homie rum, or putting the big homie on it, because when it comes to the red or the blue side or whatever, nigga, that's a real homie. That's a real nigga. You know what I'm saying? And so I just want to, put that just into the space, because he has definitely returned the gratitude for me and in me regarding my life and journey. When I speak on, the dead and those who have made the transition, I truly honor, my connection with the spirit realm, and just as a spirit myself, because I truly see things as it is. So I see the dead is still living in many ways in which they awaken, or they come alive, and they be living amongst me in my universe, just as I am present. And so when I see signs, when I hear certain things, or even when certain people bring up certain people, you know what I mean? That shit is very cosmic. That shit is very spiritual. That shit is very interconnected, more with one's journey and one's, I would say, receptivity, position, and all that. Because definitely in a lot of states of the mind, previously and just in life, if you're not open enough within your heart, if you're not wise enough within your conscious and your mind, you won't be able to receive, you won't be able to connect, and then you won't be able to, know the things you need to know. And so I'm just grateful that from my recent experiences and journeys, that in this 722 energy, it has been through a lot of my spirit guides, the elders, the great ones, the ancestors, of which I have been able to rather see this energy as a portal. Because that's one thing I do recognize in the 722 or the 722 energy, is that it is a portal. And so I like to look at portals as gateways, or like as transformations, you know what I'm saying? And so a portal is not just you could look at it like that, just to get from one place to another, but I feel that in the portal, or in the transition of a portal, or in the going forth of it, right, it should transform you, or you should come out different. So even looking at it as like meditation, we'll just say that, because, if you're really into this work, then you understand the purpose of meditation and going within in the network of being one's own access, right? And so I'll say, in meditation, when you having a good meditation, or I don't even want to say, I don't know what a bad meditation is, and I'm not gonna say that that there's no bad way or wrong way, but I don't feel it really is. So I'll say it like this: when you enter into meditation and you come back, let's say better than you enter, you know what I'm saying? So you meet yourself again. That I find is that you stepping out on another side, or you coming out of another side of that which you perhaps left. So let's say the thought that you went in with, or the feelings you went in with, if not transcended and have been made better, or reformed and alchemized into the necessary space and energy, right? Let's say a nigga need to keep meditating. You know what I mean? You need to keep going, And I'm not even saying it like that. I said it to say, it's not about instant gratification. What I'm saying is that it's about realization. So realizing the subtleties and the subtleties of your nature, and how you are able to access, and how this energy, and how the universe, the earth, whatever, responds or corresponds with you as you navigate and do what you do. And that's a big thing. So definitely, 722 is a portal in itself, is what I'm saying. And also, something that I find very significant is that within just the numerology and the essence of 722, 722 has a big indication unto the body and mind. I say this to say, in the Torah and Kabbalah, it is known in the kings of Edom, you know what I'm saying, or the Edomites, where you have the King of Kings, right? Or people speak of the King of Kings. And for a long time, I know in my peer group, nobody really asked no questions like who are the King of Kings, or what are the King of Kings, or what do they mean by that, right? And so most times niggas is just give it to Jesus or give it to, Christ or somebody that is not particularly. And, I want to say that, not too loosely, because I do understand that Christ is consciousness, Christ is energy. So therefore, how you understand light and the crystals and the, let's say, the crystalline nature, nigga, that's, I want to say, nigga, that's everything and everybody, nigga. You know what I mean? So realize yourself. You know what I mean? Everybody got some form of light somewhere. You know what I mean? Somehow. But no, what it is though, the King of Kings is really the let me not get mixed up. But the King of Kings is the seven portals or the seven access points on the face, right? And so we understand that the body is a temple, king dome, you know what I mean? Or you are a king of your dome, you know what I'm saying? Or the king dome, D-O-M-D-O-M-E, however you want to spell it, same shit. Whether you masculine, feminine, king or queen, this still is relevant, you know what I mean? So the queen of queens, But no, as I would like to just further elaborate on that, you had the two eyes, the two nostrils, the mouth, and the ears, you know what I mean? All corresponding to seven, or basically adding up to seven. And so that's what, brings about the seven energy within that aspect. And that's something I find so indicative, and it's so significant, and it's so subtle, and it goes over niggas' heads. And I say that because niggas just ain't accessed or privy to it. And at the same time, a lot of niggas ain't gonna go looking for what that mean or what it's really about, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's something that I felt very significant on that. And even going deeper into that, when it comes to just the chakra energy and the unification of the chakras and understanding the seven energy and how, you got seven seals of light and all of that, you know what I mean? I find that it is all connected one way or another, it's all connected. And so another thing too, though, with the 22 energy, what makes 722 so significant or so indicative unto me, and I feel just in the space period, just consciousness, is that in the body or in the brain, you got 22 bones. Hold on. Yep. Let me make sure I'm on point. Right. So in the skull, you got 22 bones. And this is something that I've been studying for some months, almost a year now, where I've been just kind of like analyzing how as a soul, as energy, as spirit, how we compose, and even, because like they say, every time we go to sleep, we die, how we compose and decompose, how we come in and come out, you know what I mean? Or how we enter and then how we exit, you know what I mean? And I say that from a space of consciousness, whereas how we scoped and cultivate the nature of the mind and that which we then think our thoughts and do the things that we do and the actions of how we feel emotionally and intuitively and all the shit, man. I feel it's something much deeper, it's something much deeper, that's interconnected to the ebbs and flows, you know what I mean? To the grooves and things, you know what I'm saying? The cranial nerve system, man. There's something about it. And one thing about it, I even just say like this: get out of your head. You know what I mean? Get out of your head. I'm saying this to myself as I say this to whoever else, because I know how it be, you know what I mean? As one who could be an overthinker, or some people might say an old soul, and however niggas want to look at it. But oftentimes, man, that shit could take, let's say I don't want to say you could waste time, but you could take up so much time in your mind where you don't get things done and not execute on the particular ideas or feelings or whatever the fuck that's going on. Because you got to understand that energy, is constant, it's moving. So let's say, where are you in the flow of things? And that's something that I find very, very, very profound and significant just in life. But with the 22 bones of the skull, there is eight cranial bones that enclose and protect the brain, and 14 facial bones that form the structure of your face. And so 8 plus 14, you do the math, I ain't no mathematician. I might be, you know what I'm saying? But nah, real shit. I find all this shit to be so profound because many a times we might look for things spiritually outside of us and not realize how deeply embedded this simulation and matrix and embodiment physical world is. There's nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to even say it like, oh, we need to destroy everything. We need to terrorize everything. Nah, I ain't going to say it like that. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. You know what I mean? So you got to be a Jedi warrior, you know, navigating the space of the stars, sun, moon, planets, and everything else, nigga. You got to really be on, you know what I mean? And I would just say, not like you got to be on something of like a frequency of vibration, but you got to be in your vibration, in your frequency, in your energy, in your temple. You got to be present in who you are, and even in the expansion and growth of that, knowing that there's no limit to that. So it never ends or you're never finished, and that there's always a consistency, especially when it comes to the rhythm and flow of how you move your mind, body, experience. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, you know, you ain't got to do that. Sometimes, you know, you got to let things move around you and just let yourself be met where you are to understand more of who you are or are not. You know what I mean? And that's some real shit. But I'll list the cranial bones. The 8 cranial bones. You got the 1 frontal bone, 2 parietal bones, 1 occipital bone, 2 temporal bones, 1 spinal bone, 1 ethmoid bone, and then the 14 facial bones. It's 2 maxillators, the upper jaw, the 2 zygomatic bones, the cheekbones, okay, the 2 palatine bones, the 2 nasal bones, the 2 lacrimal bones, 2 inferior nasal conchae, 1 vomer, and 1 mandible, the lower jaw, the only movable bone. Wow. And see, some of this shit I never even knew, you know, so I'm just like, you know, just when I go deeper into the study of, let's say, the 22 and the structure of everything being, even when we talk about the 33, and even when we look at these numbers as master numbers and the master builder, the master healer, and all of that, you know what I'm saying? When we look at these things, man, oftentimes people be like, what are we talking about? Or nobody, I don't think nobody really be asking the questions. And when they do ask the questions, they always ask it in an external way where it's not that. And this is what I've been just sitting with and coming to realize even more, just like, man, bro, it ain't even that motherfuckers lying or that motherfuckers, I ain't even trying to say it like that. Some motherfuckers is lying, but it ain't even that everybody lying or motherfuckers just don't know. But some people just don't know how much they know. And so therefore, the levels of consciousness and expansion of whereas how in depth or how far are you willing to go is the challenge. And I know for myself, nigga, I be going there, nigga. And that's where I'll go there and be like, damn, where everybody at? You know what I mean? So this is where I come to a point of understanding that, you know, I should say how delicate and sacred this body and experience is. As much as we could look down on it, you know what I mean? It's so much to this shit that we are operating and we are actually, I would say, creating as we go. We're not, let's say, nobody, if you're here, nobody's finished, nigga. You still got work to do. You feel me? You still got something to put forth, even if you feel like it's nothing. So my thing is to even, let's say, to then take that, I would say, ideal and go in on that is to cultivate inspiration. You know what I mean? And so understanding your spirit, locating your energy, and knowing your soul, and understanding everything within the mind-body connection as whole. So not seeing this thing as separate from the supernal essence or the cosmic being or creator that you are. You know what I'm saying? And so that's something that I find is powerful or it's empowering just based on the energy of 722, because when you become conscious and when you awaken to who you truly are in the higher nature, the higher self, or in the higher order of things, right? We'll just call it that. Then not only are you able to receive, but you are able to receive how you integrate and choose to operate becomes more open and expanded within the frequency and vibration. But I really want to just say freedom. You know what I mean? Your freedom of choice and how you choose to be opens up, you know what I mean, based on your creativity, your inner dialogue, your sensation, vibration, and all that you I would say you would experience in your nature. You know what I'm saying? And that's some shit, you know, and I mean your true nature, your soul nature, you know, not being afraid to I would say shine that light. You know, it's one thing, you know, to exploit and expose and be like all like out there with yourself, you know, to where it's uncomfortable and all that other shit. But it's another thing to just shine your light and be unapologetic and be confident, you know, because like the great wise man, C. Minel, man, he said some wise shit. He said, pride is not inherently a bad thing. And I was like, wow, you know, like that's, and when he broke it down, he said the true nature of that is confidence. Whereas in the ego, in the mind, one is confident of the mind and that thought which they think is correct and everything in the order of processes, right? Now, arrogance or pride is rather confidence without awareness. That's how he defined it. And I'm like, dang. So a nigga, and I mean and there's a lot of people that's confident without awareness of self, without self-awareness. And so when you just confident and sometimes I find just as far as I go in my journey, I would say even in the learning of that, you know, that's a level of cognizance that one has to, let's say, take note of in their life and in their journey. You don't want to just be some motherfucker gasping and all willy-nilly and all. You don't want to be like that. You want to understand why are you feeling this way as far as excitement and then let's say your favorite team win, the parlay hit. You know what I mean? You got to understand where are you in the space and time of the connection of the events and things that's taking place in your mind, body, experience. So therefore, you can meet yourself as a soul and spiritual being in the place to be. You know what I'm saying? The VIP, the MVP, all of that. You got to know who the fuck you are, man. You know, and that's really like, you know, that's really what the fuck I'm getting at about that, because it's so much more to you and that you deserve the right to be confident. Everybody should be confident in who they are, what they are, and everything else. You know what I mean? However, when I would say that confidence, and I'll even say it like this, you grow confidence. Everybody grows confidence one way or another. When you learning something, when you doing something, you know, you practice something diligently, you'll grow confident in something that you may not have known or felt as connected to. And so when you, and it don't even gotta be something you agree with. You could be like, nigga, I know that's some bullshit. You know what I mean? So you being confident in that whatever is not for you or whatever is incorrect, you know what I mean? You gotta understand that it ain't prideful and it ain't arrogance, though it can be taken as such when you might be around others who may not be as aware or who don't have self-awareness. So that's something that I had to meditate on just recently, because I'm just like, that's some true shit. You know, when it comes down to the many a times where you, even for myself, but I would just say for people out there where you know you've been right, and everybody trying to wrong you, out you to be wrong, where they doubt you, and then it turns out that you've been right. It's like, well, nigga, let me, not only am I going to accept that right, I'm going to be confident. I'm going to be like, you motherfucker, right, I was right. You know what I'm saying? But that ain't even, let's say it's not even for the boast in that moment. And even then, it wouldn't even be a necessity to boast and brag, because it'd just be like, nigga, I knew. You know, so how you receive and affirm that is all at your leisure. And, you know, shit, nigga, what the fuck they say? No weapon, no hate, none of that, nigga, shall be formed and prosper against me, nigga. None of it. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. And so that's something that I find that was real, just eye-opening recently. Just because I thought about that. And, I mean, when we understand our nature, especially as black people, you know what I mean, as indigenous people, nigga, we the shit, you know what I'm saying? So, and let's say to not know or to act like we don't know that we the shit is retarded, you know what I'm saying? That's retarded. That's called dumbing yourself down. That's diluting and saturating and sabotaging your energy, your imagery, and shit that you don't need to do. And so don't minimize yourself by who you think you have to be or who you think you are, you know what I mean? But rather expand all of that by rather unveiling the truth of all of those thoughts and feelings and things. Get to the truth of it, and that you are in a supreme knowing and awareness of it, because you are the supreme knowing and awareness of it. So therefore, no thoughts, feelings, and whatnot that you are not in authorization of could prosper against you, because you understand not only how you are in that, but you are the governor of that. You know what I mean? So definitely, I find that come with just real talk. I'll say humility, but self-respect. You know what I mean? And that's some true shit. So definitely, shout out to C from Manel. And furthermore, with the 722 energy, man, today I heard a message from Miss Blue. Shout out to Miss Blue, where she spoke on the crystalline energy, and I got some messages about the crystalline energy as well. And so it just seems to be all in the spell of today. And I want to say gratitude for that, because it's definitely been a heightened of energy and vibration. Just as I go through the motions and I experience today, man, it's been so high, it's been so luminescent. And even shout out to my boy, man, shout out to my nigga, man, Lil Joe, you know what it is, because my boy hit me up, man. Y'all go holler at him, you know what I'm saying? One No Way Pop, man, y'all go holler at bro, because I'm always call you Pop, you know what I mean? Just because, nigga, that's what it is, nigga. No, shout out to my boy, because he hit me up, right? And he's like, it's National Nigga Day today. He was like some meme he sent me. And he's like, it's National Nigga Day today. Send this to one of your favorite niggas or your favorite nigga. And he sent it to me. And I ain't gonna hold you. I don't know. Today just felt like one of them days, bro. It just felt like, and it's been feeling like that in the past 24 hours, 48 hours. It's been feeling like, man, I gotta be fucking chosen. You know what I'm saying? Because I just can't get right, bro. And I'm not even saying that in a sense of egregore or egregious anything, but it's something that in this matrix, in this false world, that I do not belong. Because no matter how many jobs I apply to, I can't keep them. Nigga, they let me go, or they fake hire a nigga. And so it's like, man, and a nigga like me don't really need a job, bro. Like, I know how to fuck around and finesse and hustle, all that, bro. But honestly, when it comes to just being pure and being clean, and when I say clean, it ain't even about doing nothing bad necessarily, or hustling, none of that, or jigging or finesse. I ain't saying none of that, because I felt clean and pure doing that. I'm saying it thoroughly in that when you know better, you choose better, or you will choose better, and you're going to want to do better based on the knowing and the consciousness that you operating in, and is of you, yourself, and truth. So it's that, the feelings, you know what I'm saying? The feelings of the feelings. Shout out to the Buddhists, man, you know what I mean? Because that's something they spoke on, and that's something that I resonate with, is understanding the nature of things and getting to the source root cause of it, And so as I just, been in my feelings, man, I've been just like, man, fuck this shit, bro. Fuck this world. Fuck all this shit, bro. Like, you gotta get it how you live, because even when it comes to this consciousness and spiritual shit, man, I see a lot of motherfuckers scamming, bro. I see a lot of coat ass shit. You know what I mean? I see a lot of bullshit, and like how some people say you got illegal scams, you got legal scams. And so I don't see no different, nigga. A scam is a scam. And then you got let's say business is business, as in a good business or a genuine service, nigga. That like, let's say fair exchange is no robbery. So with all of this bullshit going on, I just been sitting back like, bro, I just want to do what the fuck I want to do. I just want to fulfill my motherfucking, my projects, my art, you know what I'm saying? I just want to get my music done, nigga. I got brands and clothes that I've been working on and doing all this shit. One man band, mind you. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no motherfucking 5-7 people around me. Ain't no entourage of niggas doing shit, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I've been really just sitting with myself like, bro, what the fuck am I doing or not doing when it comes to the walk of life and that which way I'm trying to enter And at the same time, I'm looking to exit a lifestyle or a life or a mind or whatever that is not, it don't serve me. It ain't trying to serve me. You know what I mean? So like I said, I just, it's something is wrong even when a nigga doing all the right shit that a nigga could do and shit ain't going how it's supposed to go. So I just know a nigga gotta be meant for something greater or better, because nigga, ain't no fucking way, bro. Ain't no fucking way, man. And I just say this to say, bro, I ain't trying to get out here and get grimy, bro, or hurt nobody, man. I already know what that's like. You feel me? Y'all might not, but I do. You know what I'm saying? And I don't like myself like that. You know, I'm being honest, bro. I've come to a point in myself, knowing myself genuinely at this point of growth and transformation, that those states of poverty consciousness, those states of hustle and bustle, those states of I gotta get it how I live. I'll take it off your hands, or nigga, I need a plug. All those states that come from what I find lack and things like that, bro. Nigga, that shit don't even vibrate in my body the same way. And so I can't even breathe that. I can't even breathe that same air like I used to. Not that I'm looking down on it or I look down on it, but I have to admit to myself of who I am not anymore. I have to admit to myself of who I know I am called to be, and that it is more. So not being afraid of that, but at the same time, where the fuck do I go? How the fuck do I go? Or, what you know what I'm saying? What steps do a nigga take? You know what I'm saying? Because your $1 million could be sitting on the corner. You know what I mean? And that's some real shit. So my thing is just being present, open, vigilant, unto my highest good, because I just know a nigga destined for greatness, bro. All this shit that I've been going through, bro, and I ain't breaking, I ain't faking, I ain't shaking, nigga. I'm standing tall, true, and all of that, nigga. So, when I fall through, nigga, the sun gonna shine and the stars gonna rise and everything gonna do what it do, nigga, because that's just how I come, you know what I'm saying? And I mean that, bro. So it's like, for the energy that I've been feeling, it's like, I'll say it like this. I know the tension ain't even mine. I know that the tension, the resistance and all of that ain't even mine. That's more of the challenge, perhaps, from the universe, matrix, whatever, illusion, to get me going. And I respect that, but I'll be honest, bro, sometimes I don't know where the fuck to go. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where the fuck to go. So I go within. Most time I go within, nigga. I get to traveling, nigga. I'm like, fuck it. We gonna get some understanding around this motherfucker. And I'm not just saying like that's always the case, but I just want to say that real shit. I'm saying this all to say the shift and the climate of the shift and the energy really is at one's own authority. How you choose to navigate and even create the said reality to come is all at your, is all at your will, divinely. You know what I mean? And my thing is just to know that and remember that, and actually allow that divine will to be present in this moment, in this life, in this consciousness. So not to be split in the brain, you know what I mean, but to be holistic, you know what I mean? So, to be sealed in the 7 seals, you know what I mean, to be activated, and enlightened. And that's just on that. And we can get into it. We can talk about the crystal network and whatnot, because I got some notes from a mushroom journey, man. You know what I'm saying? Just going through my grimoire, you know what I'm saying? I was reading back during this time last year. That was something I was guided to do. Just look at my journey, man, and reviewing more of where I'm at and how am I doing from then to now. But overall, around this time, you know what I mean, I was doing mushrooms. I had a mushroom journey around this time, and it was lit. And where was I at? Because I felt this was specific for today and the energy of today, and the energy that's been present. Where am I? All right. So I'm like I say, during my 7-gram journey, I must say, as I look back, it wasn't all that bad in retrospect, even though I was looking for more. And I just kind of elaborate on that. Whereas in the mental preparation, when you enter this space as a psychonaut, as you explore the entheogens, the mushrooms preferably or specifically, I would say one might have an idea, sometimes, especially when you got used to it, you didn't kind of got used to a certain space or a certain dosage or a certain level of awareness or experience that you could perhaps go through, to where you prepare your mind for that. You know what I'm saying? So, or you expect it in certain ways just based on certain things. So if you've done 7 grams numerous times, you kind of know the space and energy of a 7-gram journey. Do you get what I'm saying? And so I find that to be, just in my own words, it's like it's telling or it's foretelling, just based on every journey is different and should be different. And not that they're not connected, but they're all different. So you can't say this journey was like that journey. You know what I'm saying? But they should all lead to a path that reminds you of why you started or how you got to where you are. And that's something that, I fuck with. But overall, I would say in this journey, maybe in the mindset I was in, I was looking for more on the experience of the fascinating shit and all of that. And honestly, it ain't always like that. Sometimes you could just be in a space of pure darkness and you got to figure it out. You know what I mean? You got to get creative. You got to get magical, nigga, because that is a part of the mushroom experience as far as your own magic and even recognizing or realizing the magic within you. You know what I'm saying? So definitely that was something that I felt was interesting during then. And the crystal network paired with the mushrooms or the entheans is one part or a few times that it happened. I was scrying into my clear quartz sphere subtly, and suddenly it started to move within its crystalline structure, as in like a world inside the sphere or material. And hey yo, that shit is real. And I say it like this. You know how the clouds in the sky move, you know what I'm saying? Well, inside the structure of the crystals, inside the world of the crystals, you know what I mean? Things are moving just accordingly to, well, let's say what the earth is going through, what the sun and cycle is all, going through. Everything is connected, nigga. But I would say it's all at a vibration. We can say density, we can say level, all that, and definitely density, because we're talking about solid materials, and then even going higher in these things, we get into the spirit or even in the hyper dimensions of them, where they become more active or more potent. This is where the experience and things become expanded. So even within the crystalline structure and nature and one's being, come on, you gotta see yourself, you know what I mean? Understand this shit though. Scry into yourself. You feel me? But no, realize who you are. Know who you are. And where was I? And so what this was showing me in that moment, and I've experienced this multiple times from then on, but during that time, I remember I was just like, damn, like when I caught it, because sometimes you don't see it like just by staring at it. Sometimes you'll catch it like peripherally, or you'll just have to like act like you're not seeing it and then kind of see it. So peripheral, nigga. But overall, when I was doing that, or when I was just, having this experience, what it was getting me to understand was the nature of time and how the cycles of things really operate. Like whatever we see outside, it's not there. I don't give a fuck, bro. It's not what we think, bro. It ain't nothing out there. You know what I mean? It's all taking place inside, and we're making up what we then see on the outside. So how it all fluctuate and move, I didn't even see it as time. I saw it as more of like air or breath, or even rather just energy. You know what I mean? How energies cross and move about, how they circle, or I want to say how they circulate, how they cyclically operate and do what they do. But I feel that it's all in a particular it's all in a particular mode. So I don't want to say, I can say of thinking, but I don't want to just minimize it to that. But it is in a particular mode or state, consciousness. And so that's something that I felt was like, I was like, wow, because away from the mushrooms and let's say at 3D or third dimension, third level density, a nigga see a crystal sphere and I'd be like, oh, it's just a crystal ball. It's not moving, or I don't see anything, or it's nothing, or, a nigga overlook all that shit and not actually look within it to recognize their own, nature and connection and what's being communicated or could be communicated or had. And so therefore, motherfucker just won't know, and I find that to be just misfortunate, just based on that it's so much energy, and then there's so many tools and things. There's so many tools and things around us environmentally when it comes to the earth, when it comes to this planet. We have so many things that we could be working with and that we are being called to work with, but where are we directing our focus? You know what I'm saying? Are we being distracted, or are we tuning in? I don't want to just get into it like some we shit, because that's not what I'm saying. But as individuals, when it comes to the collective consciousness, or those that are on this journey, those that are walking this path, it's definitely a thing to I would say make note of where you are, and to make note of where you are and how your universe is corresponding unto you based on your manifest reality, because that'll definitely give you insight as to you having a good experience or a not so good experience. And at the same time, it also gives you insight to the choices and the things that you entertain and that you create, that you not only fuck all that you got to take responsibility for. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, we could talk creation, we could talk creativity, we could talk all of this, that, the third, inheritance. But truth be told, most motherfuckers negate from all this shit because they don't want to take responsibility for the outcomes of the things that may not be so good, or that may be too fucking good. And it's just like, man, no, I don't know. I'm not that powerful. Like, come on, my nigga. How you gonna, you can't be that way. You know what I mean? So when back to the 722, understand how empowering this energy is. Understand how powerful you are by knowing yourself, being yourself, and at the same time addressing yourself and expanding self. So man, that's some true shit right there, bro. Because too many times niggas outsource their power, abilities, gifts, they chosen sovereign energy. They outsource that shit to something greater than what they think they are. And it's like, come on, my nigga, how dare you? You know what I mean? How dare you? And so that's, man, I feel that so much, because when you revere yourself as God, or when you revere yourself as your higher self, or as the most high of divine light, whatever you want to call it, when you recognize yourself in the bigger picture, all in the all that there is, nigga, right? And you gotta know, for good or for bad, nigga, I can't be fucked with, or not that I can't be fucked with, it's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is, you won't be left without. That's what I want to say. All is within. So therefore, no matter how it's going, you understand how you could shift the nodes, turn the knobs, and do as one will in your own authority and freedom of space and being, even when it comes to speech, nigga, freedom of speech. You know what I mean? You can do what you do, say what you want to say. You know what I mean? Like Devin the Dude. You know what I mean? Word is bond. But man, I say this to say, bro, we do so much shit here in this earth. You know what I mean? We do so much shit here that we don't credit ourselves and claim and write ourselves our own ticket of exchange of, let's say, gratitude, to say, okay, I am that. You know what I mean? So we might put in all this work, and I don't know. I look at it like, nigga, what the fuck is niggas putting all this work in for? Shadow work and this, that, the third, and that, and you can't acknowledge yourself or accept yourself or be yourself or be your most authentic and true self, I find you must not really be doing the true work or the real work, because at the end of the day, results. And sometimes the results is not as instant, that's some true shit, but results ain't gonna lie, so what you choose to manifest and materialize and exist within your own nature of being will determine who you are, define who you are, because you giving it that authority. But you gotta realize you the authority before you give your power away. And too many times niggas do that. And so it's not even about getting caught up in tools and gifts, abilities, none of that. No, the power is within you. And that's why these crystals, all these things are here. Mushrooms, the cannabis, everything has been here to remind the individuals and those here who travel here of who they are, where they come from, And at the same time, niggas gotta remember that, so even remember why you started, as far as to why are you even human? You know what I'm saying? Why are you even here in this human experience, as to explore consciousness and create worlds or do any of that? You know what I'm saying? What really draws you here as to your being? And that can be something that is so beyond the surface, as far as like whatever you think, to where you're going to have to release and let go, or be able to just say, fuck it. And that's where I'm at right now. I ain't gonna hold you. And I've been here, but I'm arriving at this state of fuck it, at another level, at another height, and at a smooth groove. I ain't gonna hold you. You know what I mean? Because I've been at different levels of the fuck it, way more hastily, way more grimy, way more dire, way worse. So even when it comes to the review, as I was saying, just for myself, when it comes to this, the review and the overview and how niggas just be, I would say glancing at self, nigga, I definitely would say I'm doing better than I was yesterday, and that's the main thing, It's as far as like, like Kobe Bryant would say, or has said, he said, leave the game better than you found it, so, you might start out as an underdog, you might come out on top, but it's all at your leisure, all at your pace, all at your will, and that go back to the confidence that you instill, you feel me? And so realize self, know thyself, until thy own self be true. And that's something that, has come through this energy with the 722, definitely. And even with the whole solar energy, that definitely is in effect right now. Just when we talk about the 7 energy, you got 7 suns, and like I was talking about 7 seals and all of that. But the crystalline energy and the solar energy is what's really amplifying and bringing about a lot of this energy right now today. And so I say that to say the purification and the releasing of such mental baggage or even physical baggage, is so hot and potent, as to say the call for oneself to rise and answer the call is so high and potent that, nigga, you should feel motivated to leave that place that's not serving you. You should feel free to express yourself and be yourself in the most abundant, infinite possible way, because you understand how amplified, how illimitable you are. You know what I'm talking about? Because beyond the limitations of this illusion of light, you understand the supernal essence that is beyond all of this, and that understands this. You know what I'm saying? So as one said earlier, you here in the mind becoming aware of that nature of divine is where we all might have some problems just as individuals. We all done struggled. We all done been through whatever we've been through in our own mental capacities. However, that don't stop one from achieving the goal. That don't stop one from getting to where one to where one needs to be in the space or state of self-realization and actualization even, you know what I mean? So not just realizing and not having an idea of what one could do or where one could go, but just actually trusting, you know, the ebbs and flow, trusting the smooth groove, you know what I mean, that'll put you in tune at the right space and time, nigga. You know, like you done called the motherfucking radio station and want some tickets, you know what I'm saying? So you just gotta know. But even in the unknown, trusting that knowing can be and will be revealed to you through you as it is you that is known or that is knowing. So don't forget who you are and don't forget about your dreams. Don't forget about why you are, because your purpose, as far as why you carry the heart that you carry, why you carry the mind and the ideas and the inspirations and all of that, we could dilute it to say that it's illusion, it's simulation, it's this, that, the third. That's bullshit. I say that to say, because I'm an origin, you know what I'm saying? I'm a, yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Oracle. But I'm an original soul, you know what I'm saying? I'm a genuine soul, you know? And so I understand to have organic thoughts of my own. I understand to have original thoughts of my own. And I understand how one can share those thoughts with others who may be just as original or just as divine, you know what I mean? So even going beyond that, I still don't, how can I say? I don't separate myself from that greater cause or idea or understanding, because I understand that, nigga, somewhere in there, I'm in it, you know what I mean? Or it is me. So even in the realization of self, should cause or draw one in according to some form of inspiration, or even remind you of why you was inspired, or you do the things you do the way you do what you do, you know what I mean? Because it's all a learning journey. That's the thing. You know, if you're not learning, you're not living. So if you feel like you just know all of what you know and you just know, then nigga, what the fuck? You know what I'm talking about? So I'm not even saying that niggas don't know, you know what I mean? But it's more so challenging that knowing to keep knowing and keep going, you know what I mean? And that's something that a lot of niggas can't really tell or detail, you know? And so I feel that, nigga, that's why we all here. You know what I mean? It's to get it right, you know, not get it right tomorrow, but get it right today, you know, right here, right now, while we got a chance, while the chance and let's say while the ball is in our court, you know what I'm saying? Or while things is in niggas' hands, where niggas can expand, grow, and do things as so. Then it's like, why deny yourself the right? Why give your power away? You know what I mean? So that's not what today is about. Today is actually a day to free yourself from all of that bullshit. You know, and something that I was also meditating on earlier was just the traveling, you know, of the higher realms and shit like that. But even seeing things is like not even so distant or far or so higher away from the self, right? And understanding the nature of silence, vibration, and thoughts, unconsciousness, and how the body and mind responds, you know, to energy. And so when it comes to that, you know, that led me to thermodynamics. And that's something that I've been studying and getting into just recently, but I also have been in it just when it comes to the space of meditation and understanding the different energies that rather communicate in sound. And I would say the sound of silence that could be color, you know what I mean? That emanates and vibrates at a certain, you know, level of frequency and consciousness that has its own meaning, interpretation, definition, and all of that, which we give it when we go through it. But overall, that's something that I picked up on today, was the thermodynamics of the mind and how one is able to regulate, or how we regulate our mind and whatnot, and the nervous system, and what that really is, or why we see the things we see. So why you might see red, why you might see green, why you might see blue, why you might see the different hues that you see based on, I would say, different levels of cognition and cognitive states, and even breathing, you know what I mean? So breathing certain air, you know what I mean? Or breathing certain air and thoughts and feelings and emotions and right. You know what I mean? Even certain toxins and certain things like that may not be as beneficial, you'll see, or one can see, or one can, let's say, with the mind's eye, with the first eye, one can see into the mind some of these things, perhaps before they happen, why they're happening, or as they are oncoming, and know how to navigate, move around that, or let's say how to shift and regulate the mind. But at the same time, what I really would like to say is that, nigga, we do this shit all the time, And another thing I would like to say is that we may not realize we doing it or how we doing it, but we do it, And it's not that. It's so many ways to do it, you know what I mean? Just like it's so many ways to leave the body, But one thing that I want to get into, just on that end, as far as like understanding the thermal energy and the radiation of consciousness, I'll say, the sun and all of that, because what one is experiencing in that moment or in that meditative state, let's say one is experiencing the sound of no sound, or the feeling of no feeling, Because in the non-physical, it's just, fuck that. Going beyond thoughts and one's awareness and pure state of awareness, you understand what's crossing in between positive, negative, right, left, in, out, up, down, however you want to look at it, horizontal, vertically, nigga. You have a clear understanding of it, but even that, you would understand it as yourself. So you wouldn't see these things as maybe even things, but rather modes, And so in the different modes, and how one is able to shift and navigate based on the conscious levels of what we'll say then thought, would definitely determine, the true awareness, where you truly at, where you really vibrating at, what your heart like, nigga, you know what I'm saying? And this is some real shit, because the body is constantly communicating with the mind, And one is always receiving signals and signs and all of that. I mean internally, not just externally seeing numbers and shit like that. I'm saying it's certain shit that you might do repetitively that is signaling to you what you need to pay attention to. Or there's certain things that you might be ignoring that might be repetitively trying to get your attention. You know what I mean? So either way it go, you get it. What I'm trying to get you to understand is how the body is more of an oracle, or it can be more of an oracle in a sense, based on how you attune and listen to your nature, your vibration, and understand yourself. And at the same time, you'll know how to distinguish and discern from the shit that is not you. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, you won't just be accepting anything and everything that may just be floating through the motherfucking space and ethers and whatnot, because you understand and know yourself among all of these things and thoughts and feelings and cells and all this shit, And it's not to put one above anything, you know what I mean? But it's to recognize the greater cause. The greater cause of one's being. And I find that shit, when everybody coming to that, that's at everybody's own pace, so I don't rush nobody, because shit, man, some people might throw a fit, when they realize all the shit they've been doing ain't the shit they supposed to be doing, and so everybody is not me, and everybody is not who you are, so everybody can receive and digest consciousness, information, or knowledge at the same rate or capacity. And so even then, gotta be wise and thankful for the mind, thankful for the body, thankful for the experience, thankful for the soul and spirit that you got and that you contain, because essentially, nigga, can't nobody do you like you do you. So wherever you at, you know what I mean? Rich, poor, nigga, high vibration, low vibration, wherever you at, you know what I mean? Fight it in yourself to love yourself and honor yourself wherever you are, because nigga, in those little seeds, right, of honor, gratitude, love, joy, truth, freedom, all of that, peace, right? Nigga, you can grow. You can grow beyond the limitations and the things that one might be actually placing on the temple from the outside world. So, learn to release and allow the purity of one soul and spirit to, you know, awaken and enliven oneself, you know, and that's some real shit, man. I'm gonna leave it right there. But Westside, gratitude, man. 722. Yeah, man, 722. Just gonna say that once again. 722. It's a great day. Get you some of this energy. You know what I'm saying? Tap into this energy because it's very, very, very live, and it's no job, nigga. So Westside.